Hey, and hello from Cappadocia, Turkey. I recently had a 16-hour flight with my family and a lot of time to reflect. And so I decided to unpack everything I know about getting clients in 2025 because everything I'm about to share you has cost me close to 150 US hard-earned dollars and almost a decade in experience and education. And I want to make that way more available to all of you because it is 100% possible to get a high ticket client in the next 30 days using nothing but your laptop, LinkedIn, and a Zoom account. And this is the exact same strategy I've used to grow my business from struggling to make $5,000 per month to then getting to 30K per month and now being above and beyond 100K per month. And now that I'm at this level, like I said, I do have the time and the space to reflect and be sharing the lessons I wish someone else had shared with me. I'm Hannah. I'm the CEO of Dream Life Consulting, where we've helped dozens of coaches, consultants, and experts add an additional 3 to 10 high ticket clients to their roster every single month. Like, for example, you can see here Leslie, who is in the NLP and hypnosis space. She has an offer for 8K that she's selling regularly. Angela, she does identity work for people in a career transition, charging 4K. Caitlin is a mindset coach for educational entrepreneurs. She currently charges 6K for 6 months. We have Sonia, who's in Dubai, who's a confidence coach for women in the Middle East, charging 3K for just 8 weeks of work together. Manu, he's a Spanish speaker doing career coaching for 10K. Phil is in Canada doing business consulting for small companies, able to charge 30K for a year. And then there's folks like Amanda, she's in Chicago and does weight loss and thyroid coaching and is able to charge 5K for 3 months. And I'm just sharing this with you because I remember when I couldn't even imagine that someone would pay me $100 per hour, much less these kind of high ticket prices for transformation, for personal development, for feeling better in our skin or our business or our confidence. And the best part about this work that I now get to do and share with people like you is that you can stay in integrity. None of these people are selling snake oil. None of these people are selling their soul on the internet, doing TikToks or bait and switch marketing tactics. And they get to work with their people, the ones who get it, who understand the value of things like high performance coaching and consulting. And they have leverage, which means that they're not spending more of their time. Like I used to think, okay, I'll just charge $100 per hour and I'll be exchanging time for money. These people, as you can see, are charging for a time frame. And we're going to get into why they're able to do this without spending more of their precious time or energy on the things that just aren't in their zone of genius. So this is truly 100% free, just from the abundance and the generosity of a long plane ride. And so I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step process in this Google Doc so that you can just screenshot everything you want and grab a bunch of notes for future reference. I was just typing away on the plane, and I think this is the easiest way to get you what you need, nothing sexy, just the real stuff so that you can be implementing. And please, if you are appreciating content like this and you want even more of these kind of business breakdowns and free advice, please subscribe so that you can get more of these breakdowns. And if you do have questions in the comments, I so appreciate those because it just helps me know what to give you more of and what questions to answer in more of these videos, because we like to keep these regular every single week, giving you value. So, as I mentioned, this is not my first time in this game. I've been doing this work for nearly a decade. And if I could just set the scene for you, I'm not lying to you when I say I spent 150 grand on business advice. This is me a decade ago doing all of the right things to learn how to be a leader, be an entrepreneur, earn money doing something that I loved. And I feel like I have literally tried it all at this point in my career. And this is by far the easiest and most cost-effective way to get high-ticket clients in the door. Because I've tried the whole hustle bro angle, right? Spamming my email list, running ads to free challenges, spending lots of money on some SEO-ified website, and not to mention the photography and the Zapier AI apps that have to go into some kind of, website that no one ever actually sees and definitely never got me clients. I've hired team members, like paying VAs every single month, even though they weren't doing anything besides charging me for I don't even know what they were doing. But I was told, that's what you need. You need to delegate the things and get help. So I tried that route. And then I've definitely done the cringe-worthy spamming content on Instagram, documenting my life and oversharing like my life depended on it. But doing all of those things did not get me great results. I feel like I've tried all of the marketing guru advice out here, and it honestly just got me in debt, both in energy and money. And at one point, I was 75K in credit card debt, 75,000 US dollars. And I wasn't even able to afford groceries. And so this is why I record these videos and why I'm on a mission to give you real business advice if you are a real expert and you're a true heart-centered entrepreneur, because there are lots of people out here who will take advantage of your desire to be significant, right? And that was for me too. I was like, okay, if I just make myself look good on the internet and I follow what other influencers are doing or what other people who have, apparently bought an island do, then, hopefully it'll work for me too. But the little bits of success that I did have here and there were totally overshadowed by fear and stress and burnout because none of the strategies they gave me were sustainable. So I'm not saying I didn't see any success, okay? I was able to hustle and convince and, trial and error my way to six figures and then multi six figures. But I want you to know that it was anything but easy or cheap. So I got to thinking that there must be a better way. And after burning out on that whole hustle bro, do the influencer online marketing game, I entered my siesta girl phase. And you can see here, I have my fancy podcast mic and my self-published book, Dream Life is Real Life. And I thought, I'm just going to focus on the other extreme. And because of the bro marketing stuff burned me out, just hustling and playing the numbers game and doing all of those kind of bro marketing tactics, then I'm going to go to the feminine side, which is more, just relationships and word of mouth and putting together these massive launches or summits and sending really, potent emails and just giving value. This also meant I was, spending all of my time booking coffee chats and networking and then saying yes to these summits. Now I call them pyramid schemes, but they would be like, okay, be on my podcast and then email your list, or okay, come on my summit and then tell your Instagram followers about it, which really was just like a pyramid scheme, right? Because the people at the top benefited from all of my work, but I never got clients out of any of that. The launch life thing, right? Where you put all of this effort into some webinar, to some freebie or some lead magnet quiz, and then you just hope it's going to magically convert into a couple $100,000 somehow. Event stacking, that's another kind of buzzword that was going around in the feminine marketing spaces. And then also just thinking law of attraction would do all of the work for me. If I just became more aligned with my human design, if I just followed my intuition and I trusted my gut to lead me to self-publish a book or go do a TED Talk or speak on stages, right? All of these things were sold to me like the way to elevate above and beyond the hustle bro culture. But all that got me was spending all of this money on, again, looking good on the internet. So hiring these scammy marketing agencies who say, we're going to get you a lot of followers, or we're going to get you on all these podcasts. And then I blindly delegated those things thinking, okay, these PR schemes are going to, again, magically overnight change my life, right? Like some viral fluky moment was really what I was trying to manifest. But that also didn't work. My lead magnets really just collected dust. I had sales cycles that dragged on for months. I was manually following up with people via email, like, do you have another referral for me? Should we have another coffee chat? Are you ever going to actually pay this invoice? My calendar was empty because I was repelling sales calls. I just wanted it to be easy. I just wanted my people to bring me more referrals, but my pipeline was drying up. And my overhead was climbing. So I was paying, all this money out to agencies and people to do these things that just weren't converting. And so then I was stuck in this people-pleasing mode just to keep the the few clients that I did have from leaving. So I was just in this very toxic situation where it was like, okay, I have a couple of clients thanks to referrals. I'm trying to grow, but it's draining me in every direction. So I thought, okay, I just need to take care of my energy, bring things back to my center and alignment. So I quit social media for a while, which sure was great for my mental health. But when I came back, I felt like I had lost all of that momentum. Remember, I had invested in looking good on my website and getting followers. But when I came back to those people, I felt so much farther away from converting. I did not feel any closer to closing clients. And I definitely didn't want to go back into, the hustle bro spamming cold DMs or cold calling. So all of this is to say is that I feel like I have tried everything. So when I was in this kind of siesta girl phase of just relaxing into my alignment and trusting the divine timing and just hoping that I would get clarity if I just listened to my intuition a little bit more, I wasn't bleeding as much money as I was before. But doing this whole siesta girl thing zapped the precious time out of my day and made me feel even more burned out than when I was a hustle bro, because I felt hopeless. I felt like I just had to keep waiting. And there must be something wrong with me because none of these strategies feel like they're in alignment. And they're definitely not creating the results that I desire. And I see other people touting online. So I hit these rock bottom moments where I was just lonely and frustrated and crying on the bathroom floor and blaming all of the strategies that never worked for me and lost all of my money. Enough so that I couldn't afford groceries at Walmart for my family. And I remember standing in that Walmart line, my card was rejected, and I just remember thinking, how could I have spent all of these dollars, invested in myself, followed all of the guru's course advice, and still not be compensated the way that I know I should? I knew I was pretty good at coaching. I knew I had gotten people results. I just wanted to reach more people, but I was broke. And this is when I realized that I was focusing on the wrong things. So in 2023, I met someone else who was as tired as I was with the hustle culture, bro marketing, and then these siesta girl referrals and email list situations. And we had both spent thousands on ads and launches and funnels, but we never got the results that we wanted. And this happens to be my now business partner, Ore. And the more that we talked about our frustrations, the more we realized that we were working all of these crazy funnels and systems and meditations on my end, when really the only thing that mattered was getting people on sales calls. And listen, I know this is not what you wanted to hear, because this is definitely not what I wanted to hear after trying everything under the sun with these huge price tags. But what if I was spending all of the money on non-client producing tasks? I had to be really honest about where my energy was going and look at what is actually going to yield results, because I was at a place where I needed a client yesterday just to feed my family. So that rock bottom moment led me to look at, well, what if I'm burned out because I am doing everything except the one thing that actually makes me money? Talking to people who need my offer. I had been hiding behind screens and strategies and excuses and naps. And it didn't matter if I had the prettiest funnel or the best branding or the most inspirational Instagram post. If I wasn't getting potential clients on a call, my bank account continued to go into the red. So I decided to strip everything back. I really didn't have another option, and I don't want you to get here. So I hope you're seeing the opportunity for you to do the same kind of, back to the basics. So no more waiting for someone to find me. No more complicated 27-step quiz funnels or launch plans. I just asked myself, if I could only do one thing today to make money, what would that be? And the answer was simple. Make offers, book calls, sell, talk to people. Who has money? People. Where is my money? In conversations. And I remembered that every sale starts with a conversation. Sales, sales, sales. This is what brings us together today. Every business knows this, even the office. And here's the truth no one is willing to say these days. Until you're making at least $500,000 a year, your number one priority should be selling directly, daily, and unapologetically. The problem is we're listening to gurus who make a lot more money than that. And so they're telling us, just find money for ads, put yourself out there, make content. But they're in a very different place. They have learned how to sell and they have money to spend and experiment with and skills that they learned while learning how to sell that I just didn't have. So, it's like this, there's something they're not telling us. And that's what I'm exposing here today. Because again, sales conversations are where the money lives, not in your email list, not in the algorithm, and not in your Canva folder. Those were honestly the hurdles that I was hiding behind. So when I finally got my butt in a seat and I started talking to people, my world and my bank account absolutely transformed almost overnight. And the best part about this is that I wasn't chasing likes or, these vanity metrics or something that, again, in the end, when I take 17 steps back and I have the hindsight to realize the things that I was filling my time with, like vanity metrics and launches, they never actually fixed the money problem for me. But when I focused on closing deals, that was like the most immediate path to money. So I wasn't wondering where my next client was coming from. I was booking them. And, having a dream and not taking action on it creates a lot of anxiety. And so I realized, man, if I just start talking to people, all of my problems are going to be solved. And this is when it became really easy for me to just go and make requests, right? So I asked people if they would be willing to jump on my calendar. I put my butt in my seat and I started talking to folks and helping clients book the same thing. And so the clients that I had, I started saying, guys, we all need to wake up. We don't need more copywriting. We don't need more Instagram posts. We don't need more of these shiny objects. How about we all go back to the basics and start talking to humans? And this is when not only I started getting results, but also the people that I work with. So here we go. People coming in saying, Hannah, it's a 10K week, 3 clients in 1 week. Yee, I'm already past last month's goal. And I'm saying, dream life is real life. And this client is feeling so excited and proud. Same up here, 2 clients in 1 day. This doesn't happen when you're sitting behind Canva or taking naps. This happens when you're actually talking to people. And I was urging my clients to do the same. And so here, I'm getting a thank you. Okay, I finally landed a 15K client. Thank you for everything you brought to my business and my life. And I was honestly, just as surprised as they were, because I was like, it really was simple all along, but we all were overcomplicating it. And it started with that ridiculously simple shift. Prioritize getting people on calls over everything else. So within 1 month, I got 5 high-ticket clients without paying anything other than time, effort, and attention. And that was all I had at the time. I didn't have money, right? And so when you don't have money, then you do have time and you do have your effort and you do have your attention that can go into relevant conversations. And suddenly the world was my oyster again. I was able to reinvest that cash injection back into my business and focus on scaling the system rather than just keeping it alive. Because it's not sustainable to just talk to people all of the time, but you have to start somewhere. And so after I got 5 clients and had that cash injection, I started thinking about leverage and scaling. And so I built a team of incredible people and taught them how to do what I was doing. I started working less hours. I was able to actually go off the grid on vacations with my husband and not just be up at night the whole time wondering where's my next dollar or my next client coming from. And I was able to go for sunset walks. And to me, this is what it's all about. This is the dream life ethos. I had always known there has to be a way that we can have a massive impact and live a beautiful life and have the abundance and the ease to do the things that fill up our cup and that bring us true joy in life. And it's not hustling on Instagram or sitting behind Canva. And so when I unlocked this level of freedom, I was able to really start to think about leverage and doing this long term, not just hustling for the next dollar and having my butt in the seat all of the time, right? That's what got me started. But now I'm going to show you the exact strategy so that you can skip both the hustle bro and the siesta girl trial and error and just go get high ticket clients for free in the next 30 days. So let's get to it. Number 1, talk to your people. Yes, it is that simple. it's talking to actual humans, not algorithms, not maybe people who follow you, who do we actually know who they are, but like real live conversations that you record on Zoom, which you can do with a free plan, by the way. This doesn't even need to cost you money. So I just sent a few short messages to people who I thought would be dream clients and did fit into my target audience based on what I already knew about them. Okay, this is your warm market. So for me, it was people in my masterminds and people that I also knew were struggling to get clients online, and I just did market research. Now, if you don't have a mastermind or a networking group, then just do some quick searching on LinkedIn. Go find those profiles. That's going to be more of your cold market. But here's what we know about humans. They love giving opinions. So you're just going to ask them to book a 20 to 40 minute conversation so that you can learn more about them. It is very easy. We have clients that do this and who get dozens of yeses every single week to a cold audience on LinkedIn. So we just let them know, hey, I want to learn more about your dream outcome. So we need to understand from them the big goal they wish someone would just hand to them, right? If I had a magic wand, what would happen in your life, your business, your career, your thyroid? Then you also want to find out what they've already tried. So get that whole graveyard of strategies that didn't work for them. You heard mine already today. So if your ideal client is a struggling life coach, then I gave you some of that graveyard earlier. But if that's not, life coaches are not your niche, then ask, okay, what have you tried? What else? How about Slim Fast? How about Ozempic? What else? Hypnosis. Tell me what hasn't worked for you and why this problem still exists, so that you can really understand their pain and the thing that they would pay a lot of money to go away. You need to know what people would actually pay you for, and it is always getting out of pain. And when you're in this kind of market research energy, again, people are very generous in telling you what they wish they could get out of, what they wish they could alleviate. So this is when I just got on these 8 Zoom calls with potentially ideal clients, not to sell, but to listen. I asked these kinds of questions and I watched how they spoke. I paid attention to what specifically frustrated them, what they'd tried, and what they actually wanted. And this is when I discovered they didn't want more coaching. They didn't want more copywriting or content or Canva posts. And they didn't want another course. They wanted a solution. They wanted strategy. They wanted a real result delivered efficiently. And I had to be humble enough to listen to them instead of think, okay, I'm just going to give you this, and maybe I'll try a retreat in Tulum. But I took some good listening. So all you have to do to get to that same place for yourself is to send them your calendar link and book the call within the next 5 days, right? Success, love, speed. So then you're going to record the conversation so that you can refer back to what you learned. And this is your chance to listen to your market and actually learn what they need to solve their problems. Again, your only job is to listen. You do not want to pitch or slide in with your offer just yet. What you're looking for is intel and building relationships with people, because that's what they're genuinely here for anyway. And once you understand what your people actually want and what's failed them in the past, selling your solution becomes incredibly easy. So the next thing that you need to do is to package your offer in their language. So now comes the fun part. You are going to take all of the intel that you got from those 20 to 40 minute conversations. AI might even help you boil it down to some good data points. And you're going to turn that intel into a message that actually makes people pay attention. And this is not posting generic motivational content or writing a massive free ebook. And it's definitely not putting together a webinar that nobody attends. Instead, you're going to take what you learned from your research, boil it down into an offer statement, and then combine the two into a language your people will understand. So step 1, call out exactly who you help. Yes, the niche that you help. Then you're going to name the pain you know they're desperate to fix. They told you this word for word. Then you'll paint their dream outcome in crystal clear terms. Again, they gave you these exact words, so this should honestly feel like a Mad Lib. And you put all of this into a simple Google Doc. And then you're going to walk through how you do that in a video like this, right? So just like I put together this Google Doc, you can take this same exact strategy and implement immediately. just like I did. I do this over and over because I'm always listening to the market, and I know they want to get clients without doing these things because they tell me this every single week. I continue to have real conversations with real people every single week, and that's what inspires me to create these kinds of messages, this kind of content. And now I have a free asset that explains my offer to a T. I don't have to be hosting a free event. I don't have to be live. Again, I'm like in a hotel room in Turkey right now, and I have no idea where you are or when you're going to get to see this. So it's evergreen, which I also love as a kind of lifestyle entrepreneur. So the third step here is to show it back to your people. So this means getting back in touch with the people who you interviewed and presenting them with your solution live on a call. Because remember, humans love conversations. Money comes from conversations and humans. So if your palms just got sweaty thinking about talking people through a Google Doc on a live call, I get it. I was there too. But as entrepreneurs, we feel the fear and we do it anyway. And this is what I'm telling you sets you apart in 2025 from every other smoke and mirror, shiny object marketing tactic out there. So I had to break the belief that sales was something sleazy or something you work your way up to after doing 100 and, after doing 200 hours of free value. But I want to tell you something. You're not bothering people. You're not tricking people. You're offering them a lifeline to get the exact result they told you they wanted. In their own words, just a little bit ago. It's like, okay, if you told me you're hungry, I'm craving an apple, and I came back with an apple, then like you are a savior, not sleazy. So you do want to make sure that you ask for permission, by the way, right? So we got people, this client, Leslie, she got 37 yeses by running this strategy. And the coolest part about this is that when I first tried this with my business partner, we weren't even pitching. Again, this wasn't a strategy. We were just trying to get clients in the easiest way possible. We just said to people that we had interviewed, based on what you shared with me, I've been thinking about you. I have something that I think will help you get clients, in our case, without dancing on TikTok. Do you want to hear about it? And 5 out of our 8 to 10 market research calls naturally turned into sales calls. People were honestly begging us to pitch them. And they came back and they're like, I just watched your video. Like, thanks for sending it over. This sounds great. I especially liked hearing, you walk through this. Let's do it. Do you have time earlier than Monday? I was amazed by these kinds of responses, and it just keeps happening. This is the stupid, simple way that we keep getting people reaching out to us. So, here was a week that I was just dazzled. We had 17 qualified client applications in the last 14 days. And I wasn't doing these things. I was just welcoming in new clients. And this even happened between the holidays, a historically difficult time to get new clients between Christmas and New Year's. We had 2 new people come in, pay in full, and the system continues to work week in and week out. This isn't rocket science. This is just back to the basics. And this process makes sales as smooth as butter for clients. I know you did not love to hear that you need to get on sales calls, but what if they were so easy that people were reaching out to you and you had multiple new clients per day? This is what's possible, and it really can be this easy. And you just don't hear about it that much because everyone wants to make it complicated. And everyone, again, is at this different level of business where they started 15 years ago. And all of this smoke and noise is what I'm trying to cut through here today. Because most people talking about sales online make it sound like it's super complicated and it takes time and money. But when you mirror back someone's exact pain and dream outcome, they feel seen and lean in. And that's all it takes to have a candid conversation about your offer. So there you go. A lot of hot air from up high in the sky. My flyover view of how to get high ticket clients for free in under 30 days, whether you have a 3K offer or a 30K offer. And this whole thing is scalable. Like I said, this is not meant for you to endlessly be exchanging Zoom time for dollars. Because we have clients pulling in 50K, 75K, and 100K months like we do while still living our lives. That's the thing I really want you to understand. You have to sacrifice a little bit of time and energy at the beginning so that long term you have something that you can rely on and you can run this system like a CEO, not a broke girl at Walmart wondering, why doesn't anything work for me? So I'm not going to tell you that scaling everything is free, because it's not if you want to plug into other systems, right? Like over time, there did become Team, and I do now pay for a Loom account, and Zoom and these other pieces of software, but that's a whole nother chapter. And it's a lot better than being in so much debt and spending hours of my time just trying everything under the sun. I now spend in the direction that I know creates an ROI, return on investment. So if you are curious about building a repeatable client acquisition process and refining, automating, and scaling it to build your dream life, then check out some of the other suggested videos that are going to pop up here, because I am on a mission to show you how I went from broke coach, solopreneur, service provider to seven-figure CEO, because it is not that deep. Cheers to growth.